Jai Shri Gurudev ki Jai, Jai Bhatwachanandam, translations of Prabhupada, Shri Krishna Prabhupada, Shri Krishna Prabhupada ki Jai, Jananta Koti Vaishnavanda ki Jai, Hare Krishna. Okay, so who would like to start the discussion? Others can join in for this. Did it continue? Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. We are in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, verse 17, devotional service. Thank you, Amrish Prabhuji. Thank you, Purnamada Devidasi Mataji. Thank you, Krishna Samaravan Krishna Das Prabhu, for guiding and training us and wonderful and allowing us to give our realization in this wonderful program. Yes. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, verse 17. Yo na hrushyati na dveshti na sochati na kankshati shubha shubha parityagi bhaktimanyah same priyah. Yo na hrushyati na dveshti na sochati na kankshati shubha shubha parityagi bhaktimanyah same priyah. Yo na hrushyati na dveshti na sochati na kankshati shubha shubha parityagi bhaktimanyah same priyah. Word to word synonym by Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. Ya, one who, na, never, rushyati, takes pleasure, na, never, dveshti, grieves, na, never, sochati, laments, na, never, kankshati, desires, shubha, auspicious, ashubha, inauspicious, parityagi, renouncer, bhaktiman, devotee, ya, one who, sa, he is, me, my, priyaha, dear. One who never takes pleasure, never grieves, never laments, never desires, auspicious, inauspicious, encounter, devotee, one who, he is my dear. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One who neither grasps pleasure or grief, who neither laments nor desires, and who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things, he is very dear to me. Purport. A pure devotee is neither happy nor distressed over material gain and loss, nor is he very much anxious to get a son or disciple, nor is he distressed by not getting them. If he loses anything which is very dear to him, he does not lament. Similarly, if he does not get what he desires, he is not distressed. He is transcendental in the face of all kinds of auspicious, inauspicious, and sinful activities. He is prepared to accept all kinds of risk for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. Nothing is an impediment in the discharge of his devotional service. Such a devotee is very dear to Krishna. So this is continuation with the earlier chapter. And here in Srila Prabhupada explains that the true devotee doesn't get overly happy when good things happen, or sad, or when bad things happen. But he remains calm because he knows that the Krishna is in control. The devotee doesn't crave for material things. nor regret what he has lost. He depends only on Krishna. So material things, because for me, like I think I see myself here, that as soon as you leave home, that I'm mingled with, like, all, everything is surrounded by material things. And of course then we have to uh, involve in those things, like, while working or going out. But it's very difficult to uh, away from them. You have to be with them. But even though we are with them, but we have to try. I have to try to be aloof from them. But it's very difficult. But yes, I'm trying my level best, because when when you come to when I come to home and chant, and then do involve in the devotional service, then that everything goes, like, it's completely. I totally forget that as soon as I leave my workplace, I don't think anything about work or anything. But before, I used to, like, think, like, what happened at the workplace. Somebody's said something, like, there's everything used to go in my mind. But that thing is not happening. As soon as I leave workplace, I start chanting, and as soon as come home, then of course then engage in devotional service. But it is still very, very, very difficult. But I'm trying my level best. But also, like, as Srila Prabhupada says, that the pure devotee, he gives up both, like, good and bad results in his actions. Pure devotee does not act for gain or loss, success or failure. Those such devotees are very dear to Krishna. Krishna loves those who serve him with a devotion, and don't get disturbed by ups and downs in life. Those devotees are very dear to Krishna. So, like Srila Prabhupada gives an example, businessman, he's he's when he's getting profit, he's very happy, and when he's in loss, he's sad. But the devotee works only to please Krishna, not for personal gain. So he stays peaceful always. So in this context, Maharaj, I come across with Maharaj's melodies and some lectures. So Maharaj often said that don't allow the mind to control you. But what happens normally, like in day to life, we always allow many things in our mind. But Maharaj says that those ups and downs are natural. But the devotee should remain fixed. Faith, like, devotee should have 100% faith in Krishna's plan. So by that, if you understand that this everything is happening by Krishna's plan, then slowly the mind will start rejecting those things. It starts, but sometimes it does like, involve suddenly. Further, Maharaj says that not don't do not label this is good or this is bad. I used to always think that this is good, this is bad. But Maharaj said that no, you do not label anything. This everything, that, I mean, you have to be very careful in choosing, of course, right-minded people, association of the right devotees. So if that, but that only will happen when you are sincerely chanting. Maharaj always emphasize on that, sincerely chanting. So, and also when you plan such thing, or even personal things, do not actually, Maharaj says that do not accept any personal plan. To accept only the Krishna's plan and Krishna's arrangement, and that will, you become like a person will become peaceful. And then further, Maharaj said that just chant and do your duty sincerely. Krishna will take care. Also, Maharaj says that the devotional lives actually becomes joyful when we stop expecting material results, and when you start serving with love, then your expectation or simplicity will, expectation will go away, but your simplicity will help you in devotional service. So what I need to follow the teachings of Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada's teaching and their advice time to time. And of course, Amrish Prabhu's uh, uh, advice continues. And and then also Maharaj says that stop asking Krishna for things. Start asking him. Actually, we should ask uh, uh, Lord Krishna that how can I serve better? That's always Maharaj says that. And this actually, if you make this mindset, then makes devotee very dear to Krishna. So that needs to be, I have to be like, everything like, most of the time being a material thing, I try not to ask, but yeah, it does happen sometimes. But if that things, I mean, that will only happen with the association of the devotees. And when I read Maharaj Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, and slowly, that will definitely come into the what uh, yes. So in actually from this particular verse, I got few points. I noted that stay calm in good or bad times. Do not greedy or any fearful about future, and accept whatever comes in life or in spiritual, because that is Krishna's mercy. And also absorbed in chanting, reading Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, and offer everything to Krishna. So this is my realization from this verse. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you, His Grace Amrish Prabhu, Her Grace Pragya Devidasi Mataji, and His Grace Krishna Prabhu for organizing this class and giving me the chance to share my realization. And thank you, His Grace Sopan Prabhu, for sharing your nice realization and mentioning about how the sincere devotion service can help us to fix in these qualities. I'll recite the verse, then I will share my realization. Yo na harshati na dveshti na sochati na kankshati subha shubha parityagi bhaktiman yah same priyah. Translation by Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One who neither grasps pleasure or grief, who neither laments nor desires, and who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things, is very dear to me. So, this verse, I realized that this verse is one of that Srila Prabhupada usually quotes often. Na sochati na kankshati. I remember that points Srila Prabhupada's lectures, that neither laments nor desires. So here these are more qualities in this verse of a pure devotee that described by the Lord. So Srila Prabhupada explained in lectures that living entities doing these two things, lamenting on what they don't missed and desiring for what they don't have. So actually this is what happening in mundane conversations with people. Either they lament on past what they done or desiring for future. So nobody is interested in using the present in devotion service. Another word stand out for me here is prityagi, renouncer. Srila Prabhupada are saying that he is transcendental in the uh, face of all kinds of auspicious, inauspicious, and sinful activities. So we have to renounce both auspicious and inauspicious in the discharge of devotion service. How we do it? Srila Prabhupada says next that he prepared to accept all kinds of risks for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. So this is the point that I have realized, that We can only renounce when we are involved in preaching activities or Krishna conscious activities. Otherwise, it is impossible for me. When we are using everything in Krishna service or for Krishna, then nothing is impediment. But how we do it, like we can't, like we say that yukta vairagya, um, give the examples that we should use everything for Krishna, but are we doing it? So, but I remember the conversation with His Grace Amrish Prabhu that the preaching work, if we do the preaching work, that's that will engage in all our resources, all our engagements towards Krishna service, because then we have to think about it, plan the program, and do all those activities. So that's using everything in Krishna's service. But this is how we can practically do it. So this is what we learn and getting trained for in our programs. So I have realized that to become parityagi, there is only one way, which is pure devotion service, is there, that we which is we can call it true vairagya. Otherwise, Srila Prabhupada says that we are bhogi and tyagi, like pendulum. Sometimes we are bhogi and sometimes we are tyagi. But the real vairagya is in Krishna consciousness, because then we are not bhogi or tyagi, because we're not doing it for ourselves. So in one of the lecture today, I was listening Srila Prabhupada saying that uh, when we working for our senses, for ourselves, that is sense gratification. But when we working for Krishna's senses or pleasing Krishna, that is true unalloyed devotion service. Rishikena Rishikesa Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. So that's the pure devotion service reference Srila Prabhupada gives. So, so the real vairagya is in Krishna consciousness, because then we are not bhogi and tyagi. So we acting on Krishna consciousness platform and using everything for Krishna. It is very easy to say this, but very difficult to implement because of complication life. We are nowadays very complicated. And so simple life is needed to follow these qualifications, because the Mahatmas or pure devotees who follow this is we can't even we can't recognize them. Um, in a purport of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 11, verse 38, Srila Prabhupada mentioned this point that such Mahabhagavat or first class devotees, although they are moving amongst men, are not contaminated by honor or insult, hunger or satisfaction, sleep or wakefulness, which are all resultant actions of three modes. Unless these neutralities of life are there, one cannot be considered situated in transcendence. So Mahabhagavat, he's can be among us, and it's very hard to recognize him that he is having these qualifications and qualities, and we can miss it very easily. I remember the examples His Grace Amrish Prabhu gives about Guru Maharaj, because most often Guru Maharaj is Mahabhagat. So, but uh, people didn't recognize him in that way sometimes, and the Guru Maharaj was minimized. But this is not as because of the three modes of material nature. Um, People get illusioned, or they're not following these qualifications. And as Sopan Prabhu also mentioned, that if we follow sincerely, then that can help us to fix in these qualifications, and we can have those chakshus, those eyes to see who is Mahabhagavat or having these qualifications. So this is my realization. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you, Sres Ambarish Prabhu, Her Grace Punya Pagna Devi Dasi Mataji, and His Grace Krishna Samarpan Krishna Prabhu for conducting these classes. And I was just thinking that these Bhagavad Gita classes have been running for almost 8-9 years now, maybe more. And if the way we are going, one verse in a week, we have still got more than 300 verses to go, and that's 7 years. So that's a good engagement. And that keeps us all on the same platform. I don't know how you do it, Prabhu. I don't have that much patience. So the verse we are studying here is, I'll just quickly recite once. Chona rishyati na devas dveshti na sochati na kankshati subha shubha parityagi bhaktimam yasa me priyaha. One who neither rejoices nor grieves, who neither laments nor desires, and who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things, such a devotee is very dear to me. So, Yona Rishyati na Dveshti. That's where it starts, no? Nor happy nor unhappy. Now, this is Prabhupada writes in the first line of the purport: a pure devotee is neither happy nor distressed over material gain and loss, nor is very much anxious to get a son or a disciple, nor is distressed by not getting them. So these are the qualities of a pure devotee. These are the qualities which I cannot imagine in this situation. And even in the previous verse, where actually Krishna starts talking about very important last two verses, where Krishna talks about Mad Bhakta, my devotees. So even in the previous verse, Krishna says the translation, my devotee, not before that. My devotee who is not dependent on the ordinary course of activities, who is pure, expert, without cares, free from all pains, and not striving for some results, is very dear to me. So these are the quality of, which Krishna is saying, these are special quality of Krishna's devotees, which I can't see happening in this life. But I'll keep trying. So if you go back to Bhagavad Gita before, these qualities have been described. Jitatmana prasantasya or matra sparsatu kaunteya. Those discussion these qualities have been defined by Krishna many times about pure devotee. And the background is like this: when Krishna gets bewildered, I don't know about others, but I get bewildered. Whether I'm doing material things or spiritual things, bewilderment is very common. But that's where this Bhagavad Gita comes very handy. And I was listening to Prabhupada as well, like Sanjeev Prabhu said. And when Prabhupada says that there is no question which cannot be answered either in Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita. And I fully and 100% agree that all the questions are answered in these scriptures. And when this discussion, this devotion service start, that is not where this is going to end. And what is the quality of a pure devotee? The question was, and how Krishna is actually Krishna explaining Arjuna that to do that question, which I'll quickly read now. Arjuna inquired, which are considered to be more perfect, those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested? And this is a very interesting situation. Because Jitatmana Prasantasya, where we control our mind or engage our mind, and when we get our mind is under control or engaged, we are at a Paramatma level. And that's the question that Arjuna is asking. And these are the output. These are things which are happening to devotees who are pure, or this sign of this we keep talking all the time. The problem is not knowing this. The problem is actually, as Sanjeev Prabhu said, and even Supan Prabhu said, is practicing these things. Okay, we see few bits and pieces, and it's for me it looks impossible. And I was reading to reading those nice realizations shared in beginners group, and particularly I would like to refer to Amrish Prabhu's post, where he says, and this is very important for me. As the name suggests, when we become too familiar with people, then we need to minimize them and bring them to our level of understanding and intelligence. And that holds true even for our dear Lord Krishna. When it can happen to Krishna, it can happen to anyone. So I'm talking about myself here. And that's again, if it doesn't happen, these are the quality which Krishna is talking about. in this verse where he's actually defining that what quality you should have, and that's where he likes it very much. That's what we all try to do, and this is the very important realization with Amrish position, which I was thinking about it. And other thing, we all struggling. No, I'm not talking about all of you. I'm talking about myself. I'm struggling with this thing. And again, we go back to Bhagavad Gita and Prabhupada realization for answering your question. And again, and in the same chapter of chapter 2, where Krishna, where the whole chapter is called as a Bhagavad Gita summary, summary of the Bhagavad Gita. Or in one of the verses, Tasmad Yoga Yujvasa Yoga Karmasu Kaushalam. Yoga Karmasu Kaushalam. And that's what we are all trying to practice, whether it is preaching activity or any Krishna consciousness. There are 9 processes of doing bhakti, and that's how we actually trying to achieve this situation, or achieve this level of understanding, so that this quality can manifest, and that's probably part of our bhakti. So that's my relation, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you, His Grace Amrish Prabhuji, Her Grace Purna Pragya Devi Dasi Mataji, and His Grace Krishna Samarpan Krishna Prabhuji for arranging these classes and giving us opportunity to share our realizations. And thank you to all the wonderful devotees who have shared their realizations. So today we are doing Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, verse 17. I'll recite the verse first. Yo na hrishyati na dveshti, na shochati na kankshati, shubha shubha parityagi, bhaktiman yah same priyah. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One who neither rejoices nor grieves, who neither laments nor desires, and who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things, such a devotee is very dear to me. So in this chapter, in devotional service, Krishna is just emphasizing what a devotee should, what qualities a devotee should have, which Krishna actually likes. And for the devotional service, how surrendered we are and how much faith we have in Krishna's name and Krishna's words. So we have seen that from verse number 13, 14 onwards, everywhere Krishna, mostly in the last line, he says that yah bhakta sa me priya. So I think 7 or 8 verses in six or 7 or 8 verses he has said the same thing. So we have to realize why Krishna is giving so much stress on these qualities. As we know that we are part and parcel of Krishna, and we have got all these qualities from him, and just because we have these qualities, but quantity wise we are very minute in those qualities, and also due to the modes, 3 modes of nature, we those qualities are actually covered. So we just have to revive those qualities again, and this is possible when we sincerely and purely chant the Maha Mantra. As we know that Thakur Namacharya Thakur Haridas, although he was Muslim, and he always said that I'm the low-born, I'm the most fallen soul, and it still he was doing 3 lakhs of holy names every day, and that's why he's called Namacharya by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we can see that how the holy name actually can elevate anyone, and bhakti cannot be restricted. It doesn't matter in which you are a low-born, or you are from a Brahmin family, or you are a man, woman, or anyone. If sincerely we have taken the chanting, we are chanting sincerely and purely, then that purification will bring us to the level where we can acquire these qualities again, which are lost basically. And because Krishna, and we be the Krishna's favorite ones. So in one of the verses in Srimad Bhagavatam, here it is said that sadhuvo hridayam mahyam sadhunam hridayam tvaham madanyate na jananti naham tebhyo managapi. Krishna says that the pure devotee is always within the core of my heart, and I am always in the heart of the pure devotee. My devotees do not know anything else but me, and I do not know anyone else but them. And that's why when the thoughts of a pure devotee is actually same like Krishna's thoughts, and then that's why it's the heart and heart process, and Krishna is just caring about those devotees, and devotees because there is nothing else in the devotee's heart, it's just the Krishna's name, so there is no impurity at all. So that's why Krishna is Krishna is actually mentioning all these qualities which a devotee should have. And when I'm just contemplating on these qualities, I find that I do not have any one of these qualities. I lack all of them. And also then I was thinking, do I have 100% faith in Krishna's name? And then I think that I find myself lacking in that also, because if I had that 100% faith in Krishna's name, then why all types of different thoughts come to my mind except Krishna's thoughts? Instead of Krishna's thoughts, all different kinds of thoughts come to my mind. So purification process is very important. And just because we have these classes and other classes as well, so purification can happen with these classes. And how do I purify my chanting is my struggle. How can I remember Krishna all the time? Except Krishna, nothing comes to my mind is my struggle. And in one of Srila Gurudev's Transcendental Mellows, he says, even after calling Krishna's name, if you have problems, then you are not calling with a pure heart. And this is 100% true. I see the problems, but I don't see that I'm calling with pure heart. So my struggle is that I can't call Krishna with pure heart. And that struggle is going on. I don't know for how long. So this is my realization for this verse. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Sandesh Prabhu. Our grace, Pandit Mataji, and His Grace Krishna Prabhu, for training us and giving us opportunity to meditate and share a realization on this Bhagavad Gita verses. And thank you, Sopan Prabhu, Sanjay Prabhu, and Avinash Prabhu, and Saraswati Mataji for a very nice realization on this verse. Yona Parashati na Dvaiti na Suchati na Kamshati Shubhashubh Parityagi Bhakti Mamayaha Same Priya. Krishna Prabhupada ki jai. One who neither rejoices nor grieves, who neither laments nor desires, and who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things, such a devotee is very dear to me. So, as now Krishna is talking about the transcendental qualities of pure devotee, who's dear to him. So he's actually the continuation from previous verses. Here says that actually one who never rejoices or grieves. So sometimes people get overly enjoyed when they actually some good things happen in their life, or the desires are fulfilled, and they grieve when things actually didn't go according to their plan, and they lament as well. So anything that is, as Srila Prabhupada says in purport, anything that is very dear to you, when that is lost, that people keep lamenting. So this is actually seen everywhere. Even I experience myself. The lamentation is very common. And also we desire. When we talk about actually desire, it's a material desire. And here, the pure devotee, they do not have desire. That means they do not have material desire. So they always have actually spiritual desire to serve Krishna, or how to actually intensify their bhakti.
So Srila Prabhupada says desires means not having material desires, because living entity, it's not possible that they do not have desire. Once the living entity gives up a desire, Srila Prabhupada says he will not survive. So desire is going to be there. So it's just a matter of actually converting those desires to spiritual desire. And one who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things. So when I actually read these qualities, so these are very similar to the actually person who realized the Brahman, the Brahma Bhuta platform. The similar descriptions, similar qualities mentioned there as well. So these are the symptoms of very advanced devotee who has already realized, actually who's on the transcendental platform. So there is no comparison between the actually such a Mahabhagavat and the neophytes. So as I also think that I do not have any of these qualities, and even actually thinking to acquire these is a very distant thing. You cannot even conceive that we can able to achieve these qualities in near future, unless one become very, very sincere. So these qualities, as I actually try to think over it, that they all relate to the body. It's all on the bodily platform. So it comes down to the same basic, actually, the requirement of being detached. So as far as we are attached to the material things, then actually giving up these things, or having this equilibrium is very, very difficult. And as devotees share that actually the Bhagavatas, they possess these qualities, but identifying such person for a newer part could be very challenging, because it's not very easy. So we know actually, because we have studied so much about the instruction of Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev. We have been taught, so we know they are the Mahabhagavatas. But the person who do not know, how we actually identify. So that will only come with the study of the scriptures. Because for ordinary people, it's not very easy, So if you think, it's only, I think, for one who is very neophyte, for them, the example of Prahlad Maharaj is very easy to understand. It's quite animated, and actually they can directly relate, because Prahlad Maharaj was subjected to so many material pains. His own father tried to kill him by various means. And it says further in the purport that one who risks everything, and there is nothing can be impediment in his path to render devotional service. So the Prahlad Maharaj's example is very, very actually important one there, and we can see that how Prahlad Maharaj gone through so much, but still his faith never actually disturbed. He was always steady. Neither he actually exhibited any symptoms of ordinary actually living entities or being angry, or he never tried to retaliate. So such actually stability or equilibrium can be only seen in such actually Mahabhagavatas. So I was actually thinking that how actually studying this verse is going to benefit me. So we can understand the actually context here, and we understand what Srila Prabhupada's purport, they're actually trying to teach here, that yes, one may aspire to actually acquire these qualities, and as one progresses, the purification goes on. As you purify yourself, these qualities, they will manifest. But how quick you will acquire these depend on the sincerity. So even actually, this relate to many other verses like Savai Pumsa Parodharmo Yator Bhakti Adokshaje Ahai Tuki Apratihata Yayatma Suprasiddhiti. So where it is said that also talking about rendering the service, and that is uninterrupted and unmotivated. So similar meaning, no material desires, no material motives, and it has to be uninterrupted. So nothing can be any impediment. So this actually quality of being actually prepared to take all risks, and nothing can be an impediment. I found these 2 points very, very important. If I want to progress very fast. So actually try to meditate and try to actually even implement, So I know it's not easy at all, but even actually, unless you actually make any effort, there will not be progress, because just giving up the battle before you start fighting, you're not going to gain anything. So as Sanjay Prabhu also shared, our mood of our program, the preaching, and everyone is preaching in your program. So yes, I think that process will actually, to a certain extent, push me as well to actually give up some material things. Because once we made a commitment, then we actually we have to study, we have to give the time, and we have to make the adjustment. We cannot say that actually I cannot preach, or I will not be available, or I do not understand. You have to find actually so many things go on. Even actually sharing realizations also. One has to actually think, meditate, read. So it will not. So these processes will definitely help, but this is just a beginning. This is still a very new voice stage. As I was thinking that actually how Srila Prabhupada, that actually he took all the risks to go to the actually to the America, to the West, and I was actually thinking that even now that actually is still very actually young, still with actually some health problems, we, for me actually, it dampens my spirit, that because heart attacks, but that actually didn't stop him at all. He still actually, went to the America. He went to the very difficult situation for a year or so before he actually started this movement. So these are great examples are actually in front of us. Even Srila Gurudev, I remember, Srila Gurudev, that Amrish Prabhu shared this realization that even Srila Gurudev, because he was in very advanced age, his body was not actually cooperating very well. And even Maharaj used to say that I have every excuse to not to move or not to do, but he still keep going. He keeps still doing all the actually services. So with the actually material actually existence and material life and material body, there will be pains, there will be suffering, as long as actually we relate to this body. But how much we suffer is actually can be optional. So that depend on your actually attachment or realization. So yeah, so having that actually firm faith, actually that Mataji also said that do we have really actually the full faith that Krishna will protect us in any condition? So if that actually faith gets stronger, then probably the fears that we face in relation to this body or this material condition or attachment to our actually family, friends, that can actually maybe slowly will reduce. So having this qualities, even the actually lamenting, so when we think about actually losing somebody that we really love, not just actual material things, material things can be overcome very easily, but when we talk about relationship, very actually close relatives or your own children. So when it actually when we think about if something happened to them, how we would react, can we able to still stay very stable in our actual devotional service? Can we stop lamenting? So for the short while, lamentation is, that is actually understandable, but to give up, very quickly and get back to chanting, I can only actually think of, the how, actually I will behave or anyone will behave, it depend on actually his realization and it's actually austerities he's prepared to perform. So I do not have actually, I just try to understand this verse, I do not have any proper realization or anything can be directly implemented quickly, but it's actually made me think, where we need to actually progress and in what direction and to what extent. So this is what I actually realized while meditating on this one. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotee. Thank you very much for all your wonderful realizations. You covered some very wide variety of points, and it's really benefited us in our self-realization, in our bhakti. Thank you very much. So we'll conclude today with this discussion then. Jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is ki Jai.
Jai.
Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai.
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 Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai.
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 Shri Gurudev ki Jai. Word to word synonyms, translations and purport by Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
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 Lord Chandra Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Guru.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Krishna.